Okay. With that being said, Sister Nikhila, would you like to lead us through a small prayer or 3 ohms, whatever you're comfortable with?
Oh, yeah, sure. गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुखमश्रवस्थनं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्वत आनः शृण्वन्नोदिभित्सीदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभृद्वाजनीवती दीनानवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्.
Sairam, thank you so much.
Sairam.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, the first speaker will be Sister Nikhila, and she'll be followed by Brother Sai Prashanth. And then finally, we'll have Brother Harish. So with that being said, Nikhila, please feel free to take it away. Sairam. I think you're muted for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. So, my offerings, my humble pranams to the lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Shri Satsai Baba, the Premavatara, and also the humble pranams to everyone whoever are there in the video call today. Thank you, Sarah. And firstly, I would like to thank Sister Divya and Brother Shankar for giving me this opportunity to speak about my journey with Swami. Yeah, that's my say and I. Thank you so much, Sairam. So a small introduction about me. I'm Nikhila Ponnuru. 2 years back, I got married and I shifted to Dallas, Texas, along with my husband. I'm actually from Hyderabad, Telangana, and my studies and everything I took in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. Yeah. So how my journey started with Bhagwan? I think I was a 10 years old kid, and my mother and my father used to go to Bhagwan's bhajans in one of their colleagues' house. So once they decided me to take along with them to the bhajans. Over there, I was surprised to see Swami photos filled with vibhuti, the nectar, the honey. And I still remember my mother, she used to write letters to Swami in a sealed envelope, and she used to keep it before Swami photo. So in 1 or 2 days, we used to get a reply from Swami with his beautiful handwriting with a green pen. So I was surprised. I used to ask, Amma, how Swami is in Puttaparthi and we are in Visakhapatnam, how we are getting replies? As a kid, I used to ask so many questions, and then later I understood he's the divine, he's the Bhagavan, Sairam. Yeah. So today I'm here to share one of the biggest miracle happened in my house in Visakhapatnam, and I thank Swami that I'm the one of the part of the miracles over there. So as I said, my mother writes letter to Swami. So she wrote a letter to Swami that she wants to perform thread ceremony. In Telugu, it is called as Upanayanam, a ceremony which is done before marriage for the boys. So she wrote a Swami to tell, give us a good, nice muhurtam and like the auspicious time and date. So Swami, with his pen, with his beautiful handwriting, has stated 6/11/08 at morning 9:45. I want to share you the letter also. Just a second.
Sure.
Yeah, everyone is able to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the letter my mother wrote, and this is what Swami wrote the reply.
You can
And
actually zoom in, sister, if you want to. If you can click on the image, you can
okay,
actually, if
yeah,
you want to, that's fine.
okay. Um, that's actually a tough task for me. Okay.
Sure, no worries. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it is written as a 6/11/2008, Udayam 9:45. So which means as morning 9:45. So so as Swami decided the time and the date, my mother and my father performed um, the thread ceremony, and it went very well. And after 2 days, like on 9/11/2008, so I was walking from my room to the hall, and I was shocked. So we have a big photo in our house in the hall. It was complete with vibhuti. I was like, what? How this happened? So I screamed, Mama, Papa, see what is this happened? There's a lot of vibhuti in our house. So we were discussing about it, and later we saw entire house wherever there are Swami photos. It's with vibhuti, turmeric, kumkum, and nectar coming, and we were suddenly shocked. So generally, my servant now brings her daughter to the home. So first time she came to her home, and she says that to my mom that, Amma, I'm able to see the person in the photo. And we were completely shocked how we were completely shocked how she can see. Then she told us that Swami has blessed her the divine to see him. So that's how miracles have started at house. And then there were many devotees coming to our house for bhajans, and everyone plays their photo along with them, bring the photo along with them, and they place near Swami in the puja room. So Swami used to offer vibhuti or kumkum or turmeric or honey or whatever he wished to do. Yeah. So in this incident, once Swami bought so the servant's daughter's name is Soumya. So Soumya said once, Swami wants to bring Lord Brahma and Saraswati to our house. We didn't understand what you're talking. So she said, yes, yes, Swami saying that only he wants to bring Lord Brahma and Saraswati Mata to our house. My mother didn't understand what to say. So uh, okay, okay, let's do something, they'll come and everything. They were preparing for that, and there was a sudden fountain of flowers from the sky that show there's a pop out for flowers in our house that Brahma and Saraswati have come to our house. So I can so wherever they walk, we can see the flowers along with them. So um, yeah, this is the photo where wherever they walk, you can see the flowers along with them. And towards Swami photo, there was a Lord Brahma who sat, and towards the other end, there was a Lord Saraswati, Mata Saraswati sat. So you see, can see wherever they go or sit or do something, there'll be flowers. So this is one of the biggest miracle. So they were there and at a house for 2 days. And along duration, so Saraswati Mata gave me this table book. So this table book and 1 minute, um, um, pencils, pen, erasers, sharpener, pencils. So my house is completely filled with pen, pencils, eraser, notebooks. So we were kids, right? So whenever we used to hear that pencil sound or pen sound from where our house, we used to run and get, this pencil is mine, this pencil is mine. So this is what happened in our, one of the miracle happened in our house. So as a curious, we used to ask Swami how Lord Brahma and Saraswati look. So she told me that Saraswati Mata is very charming. She's very beautiful, and she doesn't wear even gold, it seems. So very less cold. She just wears a white sari, and she's so calm and everything. And Lord Brahma, when he came to our house, he was having the 4 heads, and he was not able to keep rest his fourth head, it seems, because of the wall. Yeah. So and later Swami asked, okay, now Brahma and Saraswati came. I want to bring Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Devi. We were like, your wish, Swami, anything is okay for us. So Lord Vishnu and Saraswati came to our house. And then, so how did we know is, so when Lord Vishnu and Saraswati, I'm sorry, Lakshmi Devi came, so there was a beetle leaf from the sky, so which is in Telugu called as a Tamalapaku. So wherever they go or sit or stand, there used to be a beetle leaf. I didn't have the picture, but maybe the next time I can show you. So, but what Lakshmi Devi gave was coins. So these are the coins, 1 rupee coins she gave us. So it is from the sky only. The chunks of coins used to fall from the sky. So like that, we collected 108 coins. She gave us 108 coins. And so then again, we asked her how Lord Vishnu and Lakshmi Devi looks. So she said Lakshmi Devi is completely filled with gold. So she has rings with rings and rings, rings, and everything is gold, gold, gold. And Lord Vishnu always meditates, it seems. So he very rarely opens his eyes, it seems. So after this, Swami again, the next day after they went away, Swami again said, okay, now I'm ready to bring Lord Shiva and Parvati to the house. We were like, my parents were like, we never worshipped the Lord Shiva and Parvati. They are, we don't know how to worship them also. It is a very difficult task, Swami, please understand us. So Swami understood as, okay, okay, it's okay, okay, I'll leave you, but I'll bring Lord Hanuman. And he brought Lord Hanuman to our house. And this is the he came with the sinduram at our house. So yeah, 1 minute, I'm trying to zoom it actually. Yeah.
Yeah, you just need to click on the picture, then it'll come up.
Okay,
Just click
yeah.
on the picture.
Yeah, so can you see the fingerprints on Lord Hanuman? These are the fingerprints, it seems. And this is actually his tail, but unfortunately we have to step on it because we didn't know that that was his tail. So, so this is the Lord Hanuman. So I still remember giving him a chocolate. So I with my hand, I gave him chocolate like this. So um I can still remember his sense of eating also. He was like I still remember the pressure of eating also. This is what then Swami bought Krishna, Radha Devi, Shirdi Sai Baba, and there were many miracles at our house happened. You can see also Swami eating idli also at our house, and you can see the vibhuti also on the idlis over here. Yeah, and you can see his fingerprints on the idli also. So everything, like it was like a 2 months festival for us at this place. And later but what happened was so Soumya misused her power. So we asked Swami that, okay, Swami, the miracle stage is over. We want to go to the next stage, the stage of that is the Seva stage. So Swami, okay, said, okay, I understand, and he stopped that miracles at our house. So the next we went to the next stage, that is divine and his Seva stage. So what the conclusion is, Swami, what Swami says that just miracles are just to attract people. It's just like a visiting card. So it is the path from miracles. He wants to bring us to the right path. That is the path of divine in his divine path. So this is one of my biggest events that happened here in my home. So Thank you for sharing this opportunity to sharing everyone. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Nikhila. Just a couple of questions, right? So you kind of mentioned the fact that, so when you say you were talking to Swami, so through Sister Soumya, was that, she, because of the fact that she had that divine vision,
Yes, yes,
and through her you guys were able to
yes,
understand all that was happening? Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's pretty neat.
yeah.
And so the question I wanted to ask you is, now at the end you made the statement that Swami's miracles are like the visiting card, just to show that, hey, I am near to you, in one sense, and almost as a result of knowing that, you start truly yearning for him. And you said that the next stage of seva was something that Swami took you guys on. So what did you guys do on that front? Like when you say, how did you guys get into what sort of seva, and how did
Okay.
you?
So we are still with connect with Swami. So in one of our my father's colleagues' house, Swami is there or there in his another form. So he writes we generally keep a book over there. So whatever messages he wants to give us, he writes in that book. So Vishakhapatnam is something. If you go the backside, is a completely rural area. So Swami says that go to this particular village, and he gives the list of items also, like rice, dal, some utensils and accessories.
Hmm.
Buy this, and the village is just 200 people. Go and distribute. So when we search about the village, it is actually very, you have to travel 2 hills or something. It's between hills and everything. So this is what Swami says sevas to us. So it is actually medical camps we conduct in the rural area also, with
Nice.
the help of local hospitals,
Wow.
and we distribute medicines, and every Sunday we do Narayan Seva. This is all before the COVID, but due to COVID, even Swami, there's no response from Swami also to do all this sevas also. So still now, everything whatever we want to do and what he wants us to do is also, it is completely Swami only. We wait for the Swami reply and we do it. That's it.
Okay. No, I
Yeah,
mean, what I want to ask you also, like this letter writing that your mom
yeah,
used to do, and so I presume still continues to do.
yeah.
Now, is that something that you guys that she writes in an envelope and seals it and puts it in front of Swami's picture, and then when you say a reply, what do you mean? I just wanted to understand better.
Okay, reply means Swami writes Omkaram on the envelope,
Oh wow.
which means that the letter is replied.
Mm.
So when there's an Om on the envelope, we open the envelope. The sealed envelope will be like that only.
Mm.
But then we tear the envelope and we see that Swami, this one reply coming. It will be
Ah,
written on the letter.
okay. Oh wow.
Yeah. So till now, whatever happened in my life and what's going later also, it's all Swami only. Me coming to USA is also Swami. Here, I was like, I'm alone, Swami. How, what should I do? I don't know. So Swami gave me a beautiful lingam also. I'm always with you. Do Abhishekam to this lingam every Monday. So I do always do Abhishekam to that lingam. So wherever I go, Swami is with me, and I have a card of a beautiful photo of him saying that Nikhila Bangaru. It's a kind of protection for me.
Mm.
Wherever I go, I take that photo with along with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so now that you say you're out here, far away in one sense, how do you still maintain your sort of connection? Is that lingam your, so Swami according to you? And how did you feel when you say Swami gave it to you? Was it something that was done during when he was in his physical form, or during his omnipresent form that is currently, or what?
Currently, it's just 2 years back,
Okay.
before my marriage.
Okay.
So I said, right, there's my own father's colleague's house. This miracle still happens.
Ah.
So yeah, and so me and my father went there for the keeping the wedding card. Then uncle told me that Swami wants to give you a present. Then he from the Vibhuti, there'll be big vibhutis over there. From the vibhuti, he took this small lingam and gave me that. Swami gave you this present, Bangaru. Do a abhishekam to it. He's always there for you, and he'll always protect for you.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
And in when you're out here in the US, how do you kind of maintain, in one sense, that connection to Swami? Is there something that you do or you enjoy doing as part of how you maintain that connection and serve Swami in one sense? So how do you go about doing that? That you're out
So yeah, the same Swami, I told you, right? Swami writes it's in the book. So my father tells me that this is a seva over coming years, coming month. So we try to contribute to the seva, or
here?
whenever I go to India, I try to go to the seva if possible. In Dallas, today we had this VNA seva in the morning. So I went for it, and I go for weekly bhajans. That's how I connect to Swami, and a kind of doing meditation. I can still, I'll still feel presence. There is Swami. I can still feel that presence. There's an emotional connection with Swami.
Yeah, I can see that. I
Yeah,
can see that.
yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much, sister.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll just open up the floor to the rest of the folks out here. If they have any questions or they want to ask any questions, feel free, to pose these questions to Sister Nikhila.
Sai Ram, Nikhila, this is Divya.
Oh,
A beautiful experience. Thanks for sharing. I had a question on so have you all these discussions with Swami and such? You have you in physical, you met him in Puttaparthi, or all of them through your maid, right? Your
yeah. So I just met Swami twice. In my 26 of my years, I just met Swami twice. It's other is his the presence, like I don't know the English word for it. It's in Telugu. It's called as Sukshma Rupam. If anyone can help me with that, I'm sorry, Sister Divya.
Yeah, no, I
It
think
is physical form. Yeah, not a physical form. I'm sorry.
yeah, I think most people understand, Sister Nikhila, Sukshma Swarupam.
Yeah, it's a Sukshma Rupam. Um, so that's what happens. That's how we connect. Most of the time I'm connected to his Sukshma Rupam only, not to his physical form.
Oh, okay, beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And so when you say you're connected to that Sukshma Rupam, how do
Mm.
you in what sense are you able to carry that connection with you? So if you could just explain it, because it's beautiful, sister, that you feel Swami's constant presence. That's most important. As in the Sai world, we practice this. Actually, we hope to practice this concept called constant integrated awareness, and that awareness that Swami is everywhere and Swami is within everyone and yourself. So how do you? So when you say, can you elaborate a little bit on what you mean by the Sukshma Rupam of Swami that you connect to, and how do you connect to that?
So one thing my father was said that in Kali Yuga, if you want to connect to the God, it is through bhajans or singing. So I sing from my heart, from very deep of my heart. I sometimes cry also.
Oh,
Um, you understand my pain, Swami. This what happened. That's how I connect to Swami, is through singing.
no.
So I sing all the time, and I understand he is hearing my voice. So that's how I connect to him. You sing from your heart, Swami will definitely hear. This is in one of his speech also, he mentioned it. Sing from your heart, speak from your heart, I'll always listen. So
No.
that's how you could be connecting to Swami.
Beautiful. And,
Yeah.
and and you say it with a sense of conviction that I really like. And incidentally, is there any specific bhajan or some song that often from the
Yeah.
bottom of
So
your heart that you often
yeah,
remember?
actually, in BTech, everyone was getting placement, and I was not able to get my placement. So in the puja room, I sat when I was crying and I'm singing so loud and loud. So I told that Swami is writes a letter in one of my father's colleagues' house. So that uncle called me up and called my father, please give phone to Nikhila. So uncle, yes uncle, tell me what happened. Swami told me to forward this message. Don't cry, you'll definitely get a job. And I got a job later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Mm.
this is the best example that Swami hears all your voices. If you sing from your bottom of your heart and if you speak bottom from your bottom of your heart.
Oh, thanks. Beautiful.
Yeah. Mhm.
Any other questions before we move on to the next speaker?
Hey, this is Ravi, uncle. I was
Oh,
in and out of listening to you.
okay.
I didn't hear the whole. I wasn't present because I was working on some of the programs for tomorrow. But
Okay.
as I was listening to you, it was your faith in Swami. I think I would call it as the DDD. It's a divine direct dialing to Swami. Like that is the connection you have. You connect with the heart, and I think that is something that the faith that you have in Swami. I always call it as the DDD. And you have your own SIM card. I think SIM card is so unique for everyone because there's no one SIM card that another person can use. So that SIM card that you have is a direct connection to Swami, and that was. And I think when you speak, I feel it flows from your heart,
Yeah,
and
true,
that
Swami.
connection is what that is important. There's nobody else that you have an agent to connect to Swami, and the faith that you have. I think I don't know. You are at a high level than me, having the subtle form of Swami and connecting to him, because I would love to have the physical form. And I hope I learn from this too. It's a question of, if you completely surrender, you're a CIA, I would say, as Sriram was saying, constant integrated awareness. I would call you as a CIA, as a commitment in action. And I think
Everything
that
I
was
learn
one
is from my father, Sairam. He's an
wonderful.
inspiration for me, and he's into the Swami Sevas more than 20 years. So whatever the footsteps I follow is from my father itself.
But he gave you the instructions, but you applied it. That is the key thing. Swami has
Yes.
given me many instructions too. I know where I am. But the key thing is information. Swami says that is important, but transformation is far more important. And that thing, applying the information that your dad gave
Hmm.
and applying it is what is a trait that I really admire in you. So
Yes.
I think I wish I had started earlier, but I was caught between working with certain things. But I was so enamored by the way I heard your experience. I thought I should share my feelings on it. Thank you,
Oh,
Sairam.
Sairam. So I just want to say one more. We are actually very connected to Swami, and Swami always asks our help from his side. So there's one more incident also happened, and in the diary, Swami mentioned my father's name as Harihar Bangaru. There's an woman in Gajuaka who needs a money of 10,000 rupees for her operation. So that's it. Where in Gajuaka, where we didn't know where to search. So there's some group of young people who went, and there was a small hut, and the woman didn't have any income. She lost her both of her kidneys, and Swami is listening to our prayers. This is one of the best example actually. So she didn't have like a simple treatment to go also, like she didn't have that money also. So my father gave her the 10,000 rupees, and then he have sent her to Hyderabad. Go and take a medical checkup. Later also I'll help you. So don't think that Swami is not listening to you. Swami always listens to you. Just say from your heart. That's what I want to convey today's message. Sairam, thank you.
Thank you so much, sister. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. If there are no other questions, I think we can move on to Brother Sai Prashanth. Okay.
Sairam, everyone. Thank you, Swami, for giving me this opportunity to speak. Thank you, Sriram and Lakshmi Akka, for giving me this platform. I offer my pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. So let me first begin by an introduction. My name is Prashanth. I am the youngest 70-year-old senior citizen you all will ever meet. Yeah, and you will see why in a little bit. So yeah, I'm a computer engineering student here at University of Houston. And how I even got to this point is one incredible story altogether, which I'll share today. So let me begin. So in about 2002 December, so I was born in 2000, and 2002 December, my parents and we came here to America for the first time. We came to Phoenix, Arizona, and that's where I had some of my childhood. I grew up over there. So when I was about 5 years old, I remember it was a beautiful night sky. And I think my dad had gone to go get the car. And I was waiting with my mom in our apartment parking lot. And I'm very, very attached to my parents. So attached to the point that, like I want to keep serving them all my life. Like that if I had one wish, if I had like a genie and a wish, that would be my only wish, and that is all I would want to do, right? So I was holding my mother's hand, and my mother looks up and she points and she says, Sai, Appa and Amma, mother and father, we won't be always there, but Swami will always be there with you. And I was like, why is she telling me all this? Like I was so attached to my parents, and still I'm so attached to my parents, right? And I'm like, why is she telling me all this? But okay, fine. If she's saying it must mean something. I mean, what more can a 5-year-old think, right? So I just left it at that. And then in the year 2008, we moved back to India from Phoenix because one, the recession was happening, and second, my dad also wanted to come back from America and take care of my grandparents. So as a family, we moved back after my sister. My sister was born in 2007 in Glendale, Arizona. So we moved back to Chennai, and everything was fine for a little bit. And to provide a little bit of background, our family there, like between our extended family and us, there's so many politics and so much nonsense and all of that, and so much adversity we faced as a family. And the latter part of both my sister and my childhood was not so good, to say the least. So this kept going on, and I once I got to high school, things got really bad. I had every single person basically trying to put me down, and it was a mess. Here you have your family who you think you can count on, and they're trying to put you down. You have your classmates, same thing. Teachers, same thing. Administration, same thing. Now from every single point, right, you're getting hit at. And at that point, I was like, you know what? This is it. Enough is enough. I was about 17 at that time. And I thought to myself, for me, I have always considered that India and America are both my motherlands, and I will serve both countries to my fullest. First is parents, second is India and America. Like that is my basic core philosophy right there. And I was like, I need to do something, because I cannot let my mom and dad, bear, so much of suffering and pain. I was like, give me all the suffering, give me all of that. I will, take care of it for them. Like, I don't even want to see them go through that. And I thought to myself, well, what can I do? Here people are, thinking like this. And I have asked Swami's photo, I spoke to Swami at 16, 17 years old. Like, why are you putting me through all of this? I really just want to do my duty, right? And I don't know. I found the answer to that, about a year or so ago, I'd say. And I'll get to that. So all of this was happening, and I thought, okay, let me do something so phenomenal. People, would be like, from who is this guy, they'll be like, oh my goodness, like they will, look at me with their neck raised. And I was like, you know what? Let's go do something brilliant. So for about 7 months, I planned something wherein I would come to US all by myself. Like I'll just land up at some airport in US and some city, and I'll just start and build my entire life. Now you can see why this is pretty crazy. So I selected Houston specifically for like the college and the university and all that. So I was like, you know what? Let me immediately after high school, because people are so nosy, right? They'll keep asking, oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I just smiled. I was like, you know what? You guys are going to hear from me in a little while. And they sure did. They're like, from, not do it, from, when people expect you to, stay down, right? And you have both divine grace and a sense that, I need to transform, I need to do something better for, everyone around me, right? Universe will make it happen. Swami will make it happen. And so that exactly did happen. Immediately after I graduated high school, I was planning for America, and before coming here, like my visa got approved. Within about 9 days of my visa getting approved, I was here in Houston. And even learning about the how we got the loan and everything to come here for the first time, right? We're a regular middle class family in South India, in Chennai. And how we got the loan it was so amazing. What would take weeks to get approved, we got a loan approved in 1 week, which was insane, I tell you. So here I was in America, and it was not like things were getting any easier, right? Sure, it is a fresh new start, right? But things are just about to get even more difficult. And that's when, like, even how I came to America, and then I want to add that also. So turns out, so my mom was like, what is this kid going to do? He's 18 years old. Imagine if you had an 18-year-old son. He's like, yeah, I'm going to land up in Houston. All right. I'll build the entire life. You don't worry about anything. Any parent would be like, petrified, right? What is my son going to do? How is he going to survive and everything? So she sent out, a message asking, my mother is an Anandpur student, and she asked her classmates, anyone in Houston now, and all that. Turns out, so my mom, she used to teach high school back in 2017-18, right? Specifically biology and chemistry. Turns out one of her students, their family moved to Houston just a year before in 2017. And so she has seen that student's mother in the parent-teacher meeting, and that's none other than Nitya auntie and Manoj uncle from our Houston center. So Nitya auntie, so we get in touch with Nitya auntie and Manoj uncle, and auntie says, yeah, I'll pick up Sai from the airport. You won't believe it. And Manoj uncle was actually exactly in Chennai the week before I was, like, when I got my visa and everything, right? We meet him, and he gives me that T-Mobile SIM with all the balance reloaded and everything, saying, so he said, okay, here's the SIM, everything. As soon as you reach Houston, this is for you to call auntie. Like, it was planned to that detail. And here I was thinking, yeah, 7 months, I did a really good job and everything. And then Swami's like, yo, you see what kind of planning I have done. And like, only when you realize, that's when you realize, right? Swami has planned everything so much, and it is because of his will that, it is even possible. Mm-hmm. So anyway, land in Houston, they take care of me, and auntie introduces me to the Sai Center over here. That's how I came in contact with everybody. And so initially, a lot of, I faced a lot of struggle in terms of, like, monetarily, food-wise. You can ask me what hunger is, and I can tell you what it is, to that kind of an extent. And had it not been for, everyone at the Sai Center, I don't think I would have survived. And I'll be really honest about that. And that is purely Swami's grace that, he has built it like that. Not just any food that I got specially homemade, home-cooked food. Like, if you're able to see me right now on camera, right, this body is built on kindness and compassion. That much I can tell you. Mm-hmm. So that is how I survived, through that compassion of so many people. And that's how I kept going forward. And so then I wanted, like, you feel that loneliness, right? And as you feel that loneliness, and you don't know what to make of yourself, or because everything is new. It's not just a new place, it's a new country altogether. See, being in America as a kid, right, you are protected by your parents. But when you're here as an 18-year-old, you're an adult. Every single decision is counting on you. When you make one decision, you have to keep everyone's, you have 3 lives that you have to take care of. It is so mission critical, right? That kind of responsibility I shoulder, and I'm really proud to shoulder. So all of this was happening, and it's a really diverse spectrum of emotions and everything, like handling and figuring out all of it. And I got in touch with Mahesh uncle. Like, I think this was 1 or 2 weeks after I started coming to center. So I got in touch with Mahesh uncle, and uncle, I asked him about the Rosharan Seva. I had seen uncle speak about it, and I was like, okay, I'm interested. Let me see if I can do something. Like, see, I may not have much, but I can still, figure out some way to give something back, right? So let me see whatever I can do. Let me just go get it done. And I asked uncle, I talked to him, and you won't believe, uncle figures out the ride. Like, every single Saturday, ride is figured out, food is figured out. We go to Rosharan Seva, have fun, build houses. I found my sense of belonging with Seva. And so that's what through that Seva, right? There's several others, like, Turning Point Seva and so on, right?
Right.
But my point is, through that Seva, you find that sense of belonging, and it transforms you. You won't see that transformation in a week or so, but trust me, in a year or two, it is, when you look back, you won't even recognize the person who you are from 2 years ago. It is that kind of a massive transformation. So all this was going on, and what Swami wants to see, he wants to see that transformation, but even above that sincere effort, to make that transformation, that you live your life not for yourself, but for others, and the way you do things, your sense of duty should be based out of gratitude, not out of anything else. And I think that is what has made everything possible, and it has gotten me here this far, and especially onto this platform. So I think it worked out okay. I think now you can see why I'm kind of the youngest senior citizen over here. Also the white hair growing on my head. So, but anyway, this is one story that I wanted to share. Another story is more recent. It happened this year. So back in December of, I'll just also provide some background for that. So December of last year, right, just when I think COVID was getting eased a little bit here in America and in India, just after my final exams, my mom calls me and says, your grandmother is not doing well. Come to India as soon as you can. And I was like, okay, fine. I had to pack up the entire apartment, wind the whole place up. My roommate was getting married. So like the apartment was in both of our names. Wind it up, keep it ready to ensure that he has the apartment and all of that. Like literally in a span of, I think 72 hours, I had to book my flight ticket, fill out all the documentation for, what are the Indian government needed, and do the COVID test, the whole deal, right? So all of that was done. I got to India after like almost 2 years, right? And I saw my grandmother and everything, and she passed away January of this year. But I'd say, see, even there's a goodness in everything, right? The pandemic brought me home. So I basically, what had happened was I stayed at home between January till August. I came back to Houston only in August. And for about these 8 months, I had been doing my classes online. So basically my day would start at 7 or 8 p.m. and it would go on to like 6, 7 in the morning. And I tell you that 3 a.m., 4 a.m. silence, it is unmatched. Like, I would encourage any of you to try and wake up at that time, because that kind of calmness and that peace you get, it is so, so amazing. Like so many of my classes where I had a lot of coding to do, right? Just listen to bhajans, classical music, and I just code. It is so meditative. In duty, you can find your meditation and that nirvana and everything. Like, it is so, so amazing. As a matter of fact, I can go as far to say, or, you would have heard many people say that, oh, I'm going east for spirituality, right? I'm heading east. I'm one of those few people, and I can say this for sure. I came to the West and I found spirituality, which is true. And as funny as it is true. So all of this was happening. Classes were going overnight. And so this summer, what had happened was I needed to take a class, right? Which is basically a prerequisite for everything else in my degree plan. What would happen is, if I did not take this class in summer, that is, if I took it in August, that is for this semester, fall semester, it would delay my entire graduation and delay my degree plan and everything, which would not be good. So I thought, okay, 1 more month, let me just study. 8 months I studied without a break, and that too overnight, which is something else altogether. So that month of June, I took 2 classes. I did really well in them. The month of July, where I needed to take this particular class, right? So it was literally circuits too. And I can tell you, the final exam after that, I remember telling Akka, like, she called me just after I finished the final. It was about 3:30, 4 in the morning for me. I told her, man, after this exam, my brain is short-circuited. It is literally that difficult. So this class was so, so difficult, right? Here is a full semester class that is being compressed into 1 month, and where you have exams and everything. And all that was fine. But what had happened, I had also got my full vaccination and everything done. I got my second dose, especially during that class time, right? So now I was not eating properly. I was not sleeping properly. And as a result, even though I knew the material well, I couldn't perform well in the exam. Now I was like scared. Like, you know how your mind races to like the nth conclusion, like in a fraction of a second. That's exactly what was happening. I was like, oh my goodness, it's going to delay everything. It's going to cause more expenditure for mom and dad. We're going to have to take out another loan, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, wait, let's figure out something. Hold on. And then my mom, I think she's reading Tapovanam, and she hands me this book with experiences. Swami, I think a student or someone very close to Swami wrote it. I forgot the title of the book specifically, or I think it was Tapovanam, one of them. And I just randomly open up that page. And so I read through that entire story, right? It was about, they were collecting money for the tailoring of, Swami was distributing, I think, a pant shirt or material or something like that. And they were collecting money or something for the tailoring to ensure that the stitching can be done for all that material. Something on those lines. And I don't recollect the exact story, but what I remember when I opened to that page and I read, and it like shook me, if your intention is right, universe will make it happen. I was like, okay, Swami, if you say so. And that's when I actually like quietened down. I told my mom, she's like, it will all work out. So now, because I had got vaccinated, that first exam didn't go well, right? And because it's a summer course, right? The full semester's worth of content is compressed into 1 month. You don't have a second exam to make up for it, right? And to add on to that, I had one of the strictest professors. He taught really, really well, but trust me, it was super, super strict, right? So I could not say anything, and I just had to, bear with it, right? So all this was going on, and now I was making calculations like how much do I need to make in the final to get through this class and all of that, right? I was like, okay, fine, we'll do it. We have seen far worse. Let's go get it done. And final also, I didn't get that score that I wanted. And now I was like scared, right? Because in just a week after the final, just like the final was on a Wednesday, the following Wednesday, I was flying back to Houston. It was literally, I came back to India to study, and then now again, I'm coming back to America to study again. It was like, I was doing only that. So, and that final got over, and you won't believe, I woke up that morning, right? Finally, after getting a good night's sleep and not staying up, and I saw the grade, and like turns out I had cleared the entire class. And later on in this semester, right after I came here, the folks who were taking that particular class this fall semester, they were saying in the group chat, you know what this professor said about the people who took it in summer? This was the only class where he has awarded this many A grades. And I was like, wow, that was how difficult, like that was how difficult the class was, and for all of us to even bear through it and push through it, right? So it was insane to have cleared the class, and and then to like make it and then like to make it, that sigh of relief that you get, like what should have been done in like 4 or 5 months is now done in a month. It's really crazy, and Swami makes it happen. And as I said before, from when I read the book, when your intentions are right, everything will just work just so beautifully. And about what I previously said, right? I used to wonder why I went through so much adversity as an 18-year-old, as a 19-year-old. I used to wonder, there were many times I used to live near the Braze Bayou. Mm-hmm. It's, for those who don't know, it's a water canal that flows throughout Houston. So I used to take long walks over there, like with the sunrise, sunset. It's so beautiful. I used to just be there, and that's where I would talk to Swami and like, hey, see what was going on. This is how I talk to Swami. Like, we're best buddies. He's my guru, but he's the only guru that I can like say, hey, this, that, hey, hey, I'm having coffee right now. And like, I'm getting Starbucks tomorrow. And like, I know that he's listening. So it is like, you can be that informal, and at the same time, you can be, you know that he is your guru. And now it truly makes sense why my mother told me that, about why my mother told me that when I was 5 years old, that, Swami is always there, and he's the only one. Now it really, really makes sense. And I used to wonder, so in the Braze Bayou, I was going around, taking these long walks, right? And I was thinking, why so much adversity? Why people my age, are like, enjoying life, going around, and, here I am, I'm like working like throughout the day. I'm slogging it literally. I'm like, why am I, pulling all the responsibility onto myself? Like, I don't have to, but I feel the urge to pull so much responsibility onto myself. Why am I even doing this? Why am I facing this much adversity? And I got this answer. In adversity, I saw divinity.
Beautiful.
And it is true. So when you see the divinity, right, it changes your whole perspective. Because from 3-4 years ago, where I could not even live without my parents, right? Today I go tell them, hey, you tell me whichever country you want me to go, I'll set up over there and I'll be successful. Don't worry about it. That's what I tell them. Like, and here when I came here to when I came here to University of Houston, right, after this 8-month hiatus, it felt like Parthi to me. Seriously, it did, because like, the entire like dining, the residential area, and here the bayou also extends over here. So it is like, you feel that, and walking around campus is like walking around Parthi, because it is like that spaced out, right? But here's the most beautiful thing. Whoever I meet, you see that divinity in them. Right? And that just transformed, that just changed my whole life altogether. Like, to see that divinity in whomever you meet, right from the professor to your fellow classmates. And, like, whoever I met this semester, like, when I came to university, I was like all talented, hardworking, shouldering responsibility, like, wanting to help others so much. I got in contact with only those people, exactly those people. So when you transform, you attract those same people with you, right? Your company is also set. You all move forward. That is the mentality that we have, right? And with that kind of company, with that kind of experiences, and just feeling that divinity and feeling that equanimity, as you live, right? You feel that everything will be okay. Don't worry about it. Like, Swami will take care of it. I go to the exam and I'm like, Swami, write the exam for me. Make sure you do okay, right? Don't do anything stupid in the exam. Make sure you do okay. That's it. All right, take care of it. Like, this is how I tell him, and he listens. Wow. That is the amazing thing about our Swami, and truly all these experiences, and I have many more, but these were the two main experiences I wanted to share today. So thank you once again for this opportunity. Sarah.
Hey, thank you so much. I mean, you truly are that 70-year-old host in the 20-year-old body. You're a well-souled soul. Oh, God. One thing I wanted to quickly ask you, it was interesting. It almost, when you began, you talked about the difficulties you and your parents face from immediate family and stuff. It almost seemed you started off on what one may call slightly bitter note, to from there to now being out here, and you call it probably your Parthi, Houston, out here, and you're seeing divinity everywhere.
Yeah.
So and you've said that you're a byproduct of compassion of folks in and around you. How did you make that journey from slight bitterness and from pain and making it by yourself into this person who now sees divinity and somehow seems to be associated with divinity? How did that arc happen? Like, it almost seems like through this whole journey that you described, it's not like you didn't talk about any major drilling that your mom's done or your dad's done in terms of building a certain connection to Swami. It seems to have happened very organically and through very trying circumstances. Especially as a typical middle class, you suddenly say at age 17, 18, I'm going to make it out my own. Suddenly say, help me out, help me take a loan. I'm going to go out there for undergrad, which is pretty expensive out here in the US for a middle class family back home. And through this journey, it seems like you've made Swami your own through your journey, apart from the fact that, of course, your mom's had, I'm sure, a profound impact, given how attached and how devoted you are to your parents. I'm sure their blessings has played such a big part. But what I'm wanting to understand is, how did this arc of slight bitterness and frustration and pain turn into this beautiful, flower that you bloomed into, in one sense, and matured into, really? That journey, how did that happen? How did can you consciously trace the swing of that arc?
Yes. I can answer it in one word. That is the easiest question you can ask me. The answer is faith. Because in that adversity, right, it is actually an opportunity, right? Who will I turn to? Minute you turn inward and you tell Swami, this is this and this, right? You say, no matter what happens, I will do only the right thing. Try me as much as you want to do. Push me to the end of the cliff. I will follow your ideals, and I'll till the end of the day.
Beautiful.
When you have that kind of faith, right? No matter what happens to me in life, I will make sure I live my life as your message, right? Or I'll make sure I live his message as my. Oh yeah, I said the same thing. Never mind.
Got it.
Yeah. When you live with that kind of faith that you will make his message your life, right? And when you live with that ideal, like, there are some things in life where wherein it's just something you profoundly so believe in, right? Not because just Swami said it, or because XYZ said it and all that, but when you listen to yourself, right, it is just right. It is dharmically right. It is the right thing to do. Trust me, I have had my faith tested, shook, tremble, but it has always remained on Swami and only on Swami.
Beautiful.
You know, in the American, the US, the currency, right? The dollar bill, in God we trust, right?
Yeah.
It is, that is the faith, you know, we should have.
Beautiful.
Right?
That's incidentally the episode that's going to air in another hour or so in Insider Lens. But you know, the other important question that I had was, you said this very interesting statement. You said, you know, through Seva I found my connection, and transformation will happen. Will not happen overnight, but you will see that transformation. So, what connection happened through Seva? And how did I've incidentally, we've gone to Roshan on Seva together and stuff, and you know, and how is it that through Seva you transformed? You know, can you kind of explain how you've seen that journey of transformation? Because what I see in you right now is a lot of confidence, brother. That confidence based on Swami, the capital S. It's, of course, you have self-confidence, the small s as well, you seem to have, which is confidence in yourself. But also you seem to have tremendous confidence in Swami, which is that capital S. And that is very, very important for the youth and for youngsters like ourselves to have. So, yeah, just if you could quickly touch upon that.
Sure. So actually, background to that question as well. I did not come here directly to the University of Houston. I actually came to a small college called Houston Community College, which is a junior college here in America. In America, you have these, I think many in the audience would know, but for those who don't, community colleges are like, they're like just after high school, but before university. So they offer college courses, right? But you basically have two pathways. One, you want to go into the workforce, right? Or two, you want to actually like complete all these classes in a much faster way and transfer them to university, which is what I did. Right. So I basically saw opportunity over there. Like, why would I pay, you know, like 3-4 times at university, and I can do it for like half the cost and manage my money and travel and figure everything out by myself. Like, so I had that kind of thinking, right? So the thing is, in a community college, right, it is there's no dorm facility, there's no people who live there or anything like that, right? People just come there for that class period, they attend class and then they go back. Meaning you don't have that sense of that peer group. It is, you can go out of your way to, you know, like make it. But the thing is, it is not as connected. You don't have that connect as you would have in a university setting. Right? Because there are like different age groups of people who attend the same class, right? And so you have like so many, it's just so many different probabilities and a very diverse group of people, right? So you're mostly, when you're in that kind of setting, right, your focus tends to be, okay, let me go to class, do my work, go back home.
Right.
Okay. You won't sit and talk around much, or, you know, at the most you might ask the professor, hey, I have these questions, and you would sit and work with the professor on, you know, whatever questions you have. But other than that, that's it. If you have an exam, just write the exam, go back home. So so I just need to provide this background, this setting, right? So in this kind of a situation, right, you want to like, see, man is a social animal, right?
Right.
And the thing is, I didn't have like, you know, that kind of a friends group back in India. Owing to just my, you know, I would say, you know, whatever I was going through and all of that, I couldn't connect much. But here in America, I was like, you know, see, this is something I absolutely want to change. I'm fed up of it. Right? And I thought to myself, okay, what can I do? Let me join YA satsangs. Let me, you know, go to center regularly. Let me do whatever I can. I will not take no for an answer. I want to see myself transform, not in the next 10 years, not in the next 15 years, but I want to do it right now, right here. Right? You're living with that belief that, you know, impossible doesn't exist, quit doesn't exist, all the negativity doesn't exist. You will do it right here. Like, it's like, you know, right? It's kind of hard to explain in a few sentences, but I hope I'm getting the point across.
Yeah, I do.
So in this setting, so that's why, like, you know, asking, you know, uncle about Seva, and, you know, asking where I can help, what can I do, and, you know, doing whatever I possibly can, right? So when you go do that, and slowly, one by one, you start building up your peer network, right? One is peer network. See, that is one definite thing, right? But also the thing is, your experiences and the depth of what you have gone through, right? Many in my age group over here in America, the second generation, right, whose parents first came to America, right, they would not understand this kind of depth of it, right? So it is like, you still need to find some kind of belonging, something that that you look forward to, right? In the middle of your entire semesters, like stressful semester, I tell you, like in the middle of all of that, right? Just that one Saturday, that Saturday morning, 8 a.m., Rosher and Seva, it is like the highlight of your week. Really, right? Really. You look forward to, uncle bringing the tea, you sipping tea in his car, all of you going to Rosher and Seva, and then, working, in the sun, working, meeting so many new people, because over there, you have not only the Sai centers over there coming and working. You have several other organizations, who come in and they volunteer, right? Because it's a whole, you've been there, right?
Yeah.
So you meet so many different people of different backgrounds, right?
Correct.
And what happens then is, like, you start getting, when your worldview is like this, your worldview like opens out to like this, right? So as you keep, going on, and these are things that I have personally observed, right, to answer your question. Now, as your worldview keeps opening, it's just like you slowly feel that, okay, I can do this. Okay, when you deliver value, right, you feel that, okay, it's a job done well. It is something that you like, you feel that you're giving back to the society that has given you so much. When you see, the thing is with service especially, right, it is not give or take. That will never work. It has to be give and take. It is always a two-way street. So when you have that give and take of selfless love, of compassion, and of course tea and food made by all the wonderful aunties, that was also the highlight of the day every Saturday. But when you have that kind of experience, right, that just changes you.
Beautiful.
Because it has given you the confidence to say, I can now interact with anybody and anyone, from being this closed, like in my own cocoon, to going and telling my parents, tell me which country you want me to go tomorrow. Oh, okay, I'll do it. That's to that kind of confidence.
Yeah.
So that is how, in my case, at least, this is how Seva is transformed. And in general, like the theme of Seva is basically this, right? To ensure that give and take happens, that love is basically transferred back and forth, because nothing is better than that.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Thank you so much for bringing out such profound concepts to life through a 22-year-old. This was I was supposed to get brother Harish on a long time ago, but this was really good. I always can give brother Harish, who I'm actually very excited to listen to. The remaining of today and probably the next session, a bit of the next session, but just to hear from folks like you and to see the journey and to see what kind of a young Sai lion that you've become. You are a lion, my brother. And I'm filled with pride, and I'm filled with a lot of gratitude, like you said, to the Houston Sai Center and to the likes of Mahesh Uncle out here on the call, and everyone who have molded you into who you have become today. And of course, I think your parents you've done your parents proud. I think more importantly, the kind of boy you've become, I think would do Swami would be proud, because Swami always, my students, is very, very special to Swami, right? It's almost like he has this a weird obsession over not weird, but sacred obsession over his students. And you truly are a special Sai student, man. Sai.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. With that being said, if anyone has any questions, and brother Harish, forgive me for the remaining amount of time on this session, but but we'll certainly, continue you through the start of next session as well. But if there's any questions specifically for Sai Prashanth, feel free to shoot it at him. This boy can take anything on, it seems. Okay. If there aren't any, I think, Brother Harish, you have about 20 minutes. Go for it. Sairam, looking forward to hearing from you. And thank you so much, Sai Prashanth, once again. Sairam.
Sairam. I was telling Sriram that, I'm feeling very conscious being in the last year of YA, talking to all the youngsters. And, so thanks for making me comfortable by being a 70-year-old speak before me, Sriram. Very grateful for that. It has been a very interesting day listening to both Sister Nikhila and Sai Prashanth now. One thing which I saw in both the talks, and I'm sure we all noticed, was how, as their journey went, the relationship with Swami changed. And how that change in both their cases, interestingly, was towards service. And that I kind of took it as a lesson for me as well, as what Swami is kind of trying to drill into our heads. So that was very beautiful to hear. So I thought I'll probably touch on some of those aspects today as to how our relationships with Bhagwan changes during the time that we spend in Prashanth Nilayam as students. So to give a small brief on my relationship with Bhagwan before I came to Puttaparthi, Swami was one of the photographs in the altar. So there was a lot of pictures, and Swami's was one. And but in my personal case, as a probably a second standard or first standard student, when Swami's picture first came into our altar, no other pictures made sense for me. I used to just say Sairam, and whichever temple I go to Sairam, and Swami's form was the only one which made sense. So in a sense, you could, in fact, it was so much so that I was not able to relate to any other god. And one of the most interesting things for me was the Sarvadharma aspect of Swami. And the fact that, it used to always annoy me when each religion used to say that, you follow this path and that's what will lead you. Anything else is going to take you somewhere else. So that type of concept was kind of very confusing for me at that age. And the fact that Swami gave this absolute clarity to say, all religions are one, all God is one. And, and in this Kali Yuga, I am God. So that was like, okay, that makes so much sense. He's a human form. He's someone I can relate to. So with that, Swami was even though Swami's form and name was clear, it actually made no difference to me that Swami was actually physically present in Puttaparthi at that time. The need to go and see him, go and meet him as a different experience was not even there in our minds. And it just continued like this, right? So the way we would pray to God, I prayed to Swami. And this continued for so many years. And after my engineering, due to a concatenation of circumstances, I landed up in Puttaparthi for my MBA with absolutely no interest to pursue it there. So I simply went there because that was a time when I was writing all entrance examinations, and it was like one more thing I could write, and why not? So I had just gone with that intention. I'd finished my written test, and then it was the group discussion interview. And before the interview, there was a talk by the Vice Chancellor, that time Sri Swigiri, one of the greatest gentleman devotees of Bhagwan, who 2021 took away from us. But when a great human being. And he gave a talk just to all the students who had applied and said, this seat is extremely precious. So, and it's completely free, and this is something Swami is taking care. So if you're not intending to join, don't come for the interview. So that kind of made me very confused as to whether I should do it or not. But there was some push from within, and I thought, okay, let me just go ahead and do it. If I have to join, then I will get in. If I'm not supposed to join, I will not get in. It's as simple as that. And all the students were coming there in white and white. I went there wearing a bright yellow shirt and a dark green pant. And I went there and I attended the interview. I quoted Rajinikanth in my group discussion. And anybody who was actually interviewing a candidate would not see me as a fit into this student life at all. And I expected as much. So I kind of called the Prashanth Nilayam after going back just to confirm that I did not get. But I picked up the call, and Sri Kishore sir, who is a great MBA teacher, he picked up the call and he told, "Congratulations, you have been selected." I mean, after the leap which comes, the joy which comes when you hear the word congratulations, slowly the reality set in as to, is this where I'm going to go? Is this what I'm going to do? I was confused. And so that time we decided, okay, let Swami only decide what to do. So we immediately packed our bags and went to Kodaikanal. This was 2003. So we went to Kodai and we decided this trip is only going to be for, understanding whether or not to join type of thing. So we went there, and long story short, Swami did not even come down. He just came to the balcony. And he kind of interacted with a couple of devotees there, right? And he was like calling somebody, and somebody else got up, and it was just the whole circumstance there in any other situation would have been something which was very ordinary and very normal. But simply because of his presence, everything there was a celebration. Everything which was absolutely mundane in any other scenario, merely because he was there, it was a celebration. It was everything, and everything filled people with joy, and there was so much happiness, and there was so much charisma in the way Swami was doing things. So, as someone who really saw Swami as a photograph and as someone who is just a benedictory God, I saw that he had a personality. I saw that, okay, there is something, there's a person behind this, right? So usually we talk about going from human to God. I moved from God to human. I saw Swami as a personality, and I was enraptured, and I felt, no, but I want to spend 2 years with this personality. I mean, at that point, I had not even done the research to really realize that Swami's university was the top-rated university in India. It had a AA plus ranking, which no other university had, and the kind of places where the alumni were. None of those things I was aware of. So I had kind of applied there because my mother told me to, kind of, and I went there, I did it, and even now, the decision was not based on academics. It was simply because I thought, okay, let us spend these 2 years with this personality. And if the MBA was not good, I can always do another MBA. So that was the mindset with which I actually, we came out of Kodai and we said, okay, let me do this. Let's do this 2-year course. And with that, I joined Puttaparthi. After joining Puttaparthi, of course, again, a lot of semi-transformations and semi-changes happened. But my relationship kind of reverted to one of, the way our mind will always try to fit our situation into our way of thinking, our vision, right? So again, it became just that, okay, now Swami was God in human form. And Swami would, whenever he comes for darshan, it would be like, okay, he appears. And after darshan, he disappears. The thought that, okay, he's still a person, he has a house to go to, and he probably eats there, he brushes his teeth. those kind of things were never ever in my mind, right? It was, so I had gone back to that same relationship with Swami. For some reason, Swami wanted me to have a different relationship with him. And my MBA was coming to an end. And at the end of my MBA, Swami started talking to me on a regular basis. And Swami had included my name in the list of people to go with him to Kodaikanal in 2005. So the Kodaikanal is kind of considered as the epic of the pinnacle of what you can achieve in a student life, right? Okay, if Swami has taken you to Kodaikanal, that means, okay, you have done something right. For that. And typically Swami would take like the best singers, those who give very good talks, and very good instrument players, people who are skilled very much in academics, like PhD scholars. Those are the kind of names which go through. And probably the list which the registrar would take to Swami, my name would not even have appeared in any of those categories. Fortunately, there's also one Swami special categories, like Swami would select some students to just take along. So, and that was the only category through which I could come in. Which kind of reminds me that even after I got my MBA admission, there's Professor Dr. Naren Ramji. So he had kind of mentioned, he's someone who, again, speaks very little about Swami. When he comes and takes his classes, he was a marketing teacher. Then subsequently, he was the registrar of the university as well. But during our time, he was a marketing teacher and he was my project guide. And when he comes to class, he will be talking marketing. You will not hear him taking Swami's name. He will not try to link things together or anything like that. He would be a very professional teacher and he would go. But the very few times when he speaks about Swami, it will really hit you on the head. And one of the first times was during our orientation. So that time he said, and he was he was in the first batch of MBA students which Swami had selected in 89, I guess. So he said that when he had come and applied for MBA, all the students had stood in a line. And Swami would just walk across and say, you, and he would select. He said, today we have a written exam, we have a group discussion, we have an interview. So it feels like there is a process by which all this is happening. But all this is just an illusion. Even today, it is getting selected like this only. There is no other way by which any selection happens. And that kind of made sense to me because I did not understand any other way by which I could have gotten, except by the special quota. So in that same special quota, I went to Kodai. I was going to Kodai as well. But Swami did something very interesting just before taking us to Kodai. Again, in so my relationship with Swami then and now is by the fact that he has direct access to my heart. So on one of the sessions which happened just before going to Kodai, I lost my sense of devotion. I could no longer see Swami as God. So I was suddenly seeing that there was somebody who was walking in. I don't know who he is. And here is a tricky part. I did not have a relationship with any God other than him. It is not somebody I could go back to, okay, I'm losing faith in Swami, so probably I can go back to Narayana or I can go back to... There was nobody else. So which basically made me into an atheist. I kind of lost faith in God type of thing, which was kind of weird and which kind of shook me as a person and made me not recognize myself. Right? It's like completely breaking your mold and becoming clay again. And this continued for quite a few days in Kodaikanal. Right? And Swami would be giving me a lot of attention. He would be talking to me continuously. And everybody used to look at me and feel like, oh my God, this fellow is having one of the best Kodai trips that you could dream of. But I, on the other hand, was miserable. I used to be like, what is happening to me? All this is happening, but I'm not having faith in Swami. I'm not having devotion in him. And I'm feeling like I'm caught, right? So this continued, and then Swami would like constantly question me as to, okay, when are you leaving? Right? So this used to be a question like, typically students would go with Swami to Kodai, and after Kodai, Swami would go back to Vrindavan or Puttaparthi, wherever Swami decides to go after Kodai, typically Vrindavan. And after that, Swami might have given some instructions or take some Swami's leave, and then that is when students would either stay on or they would leave or whatever happens. So leaving in the middle of Kodaikanal is kind of seen as it's not something which happens regularly. So Swami would like constantly ask, okay, you finished your MBA, so now what are you going to do? When are you leaving? And typical student response would be, Swami, I will do whatever you say, Swami. I want to be with you. I will do whatever you say. One of those answers would come. But I was in such a situation where I was not having the faith to tell Swami that, that I will do what you say. So I kind of answered Swami, I will go after some time. And this, everybody was shocked with that response, because now typically people do not respond that way to Swami. And I said like this, and but Swami would kind of poke that, and he found that, and he would kind of kindle that. And then one day, Swami called me alone. There was a situation in dining hall when everybody else had gone, and Swami was in dining hall, and he just called me alone and said, asked me again when you're going. And I gave him a random date, which I thought was probably the likely time when Swami would have already left Kodai and gone to Vrindavan or something like that. And then I would take leave then. Then Swami told me suddenly in Hindi of all languages, and he said, "Maine tujhe itna diya to nahi samjha." I gave you so much, you did not understand. I still did not understand. But fortunately, he gave me the wisdom to look at him and say, Swami, please make me understand. Then Swami came to the main hall, and it was a very silent session. That is usually one of the most vibrant places in Sai Shruti, in Swami's residence in Kodai, where Swami would be cracking jokes. He'll be asking students to sing songs. Somebody will be giving, somebody who does not speak Telugu comfortably, Swami will make him speak in Telugu. So somebody who doesn't sing well, Swami will make him sing. Things like that, all kind of fun activities would typically happen. But that day, Swami was very silent for a really long time. And after that, he just retired upstairs. So, and some things which he said during that time kind of made me feel like, somebody was having a finger inside my heart and pulling the strings. I was feeling very bad, and I didn't know what I could do to come out of this. So I just sat there on the Sai Shruti garden, and I was having a conversation with some flowers there, like, what is it? What do I need to do? Why am I so miserable and all that? So when I started having these conversations, which was like so eye-focused, so much focused about, why I am facing this, why I am going through all this, why all this is happening to me. This conversation was going on so long that the flowers in Sai Shruti started to, fade out of boredom. And eventually, the thought came from within me to say, Swami, I want to stay with you. I want to serve you. I don't know how that came. I don't know why it came. I did not know that there was something like that, a thought which was happening in my mind or in the universe or anything like that, but it came out. As soon as it came out, all the bag of ice which was around my heart kind of just melted away. I became light. I started floating in the air. And I felt like, okay, so this is why all this happened. I needed to understand that I have to get ready for this role, and it had to be a choice. Had to happen because I wanted to do it, for some typical thing. And that's a very interesting thing in life as well, right? So everything happens as per his will. Right. Things go on as per our will, and what happens is what is going to happen. Right. We could either fight it out constantly and say, why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to me? Or we could choose for that to happen to us. Anything which is happening to us, if we're able to choose that. And of course, I did not learn this in a very wise way, and I'm not talking about it in the sense of, what this is the jnana I'm giving you because I'm so great. I'm saying that because that is what Swami had kind of made me realize, despite all this. And one interesting aspect you would see in all this conversation is all these things which I'm talking about, none of that happened because Swami said something or he performed a miracle or anything like that. Yes, it happened in his presence, but it was it's an extremely personal experience. And this is something which can happen with in his presence, or it could happen today in front of a photograph. All these changes, and this is something which is happening to every one of our lives, and especially in those of us who are so lucky to come to Swami at such an young age. Many of you here are in your 20s, and you're kind of experiencing life, and we could see the light in Prashanth's eyes when it was glowing with the 70-year-old youth. About how about finding your confidence, finding your feet, finding your own identity. Right. And Prashanth, the next stage here is actually losing your identity. That is what will happen, in the next steps, and that is how Swami takes us. So we have one kind of we go through one path and we think we're forming it in that particular way, and then sometimes he will take us through a different path, and more we'll start realizing that we are not the center of the world. And that's the funny part. I never thought that I realized that I was center of the world, because I was not a very like Prashanth was mentioning, right? There was a lot of misery in my relationships in my childhood, and I was never seeing myself as a hero in any kind of a scenario. But even if you're actually living your life in self-pity, you're still the center of that life. It is only when we are able to get into a relationship of selfless love, and the easiest person with whom we could do that is Swami. And if Swami becomes the center of your life, that is when we will see the next step of losing our individual identity and becoming the identity itself being that of being his student, or being his devotee, or being his youth. So that is probably just what I wanted to share about how our relationship with Swami kind of matures over time, and again, no thing is set, and that is going to change constantly, and it is just so beautiful for us to be aware of what is happening to us by him, right? It is just as to how much we can be a witness of what is happening within us, and it's almost like the journey which Swami takes through each and every one of our personalities, and how our personalities kind of needs to merge into his. And that's probably just what I wanted to share. It was so beautiful to listen to both the two speakers and to see the transformation which is happening in their journey. And and I'm so glad to be part of this. Thank you for the opportunity.
Sairam. No, thank you so much, actually, Brother Harish. I know we haven't done justice to you by any means. So next session, we're going to give you more time to continue this journey that you've talked about, and you've brought it to a very interesting stage, and how this identity kind of changes or dissolves in one sense and is reformed in a different manner, and wherein it's no longer about you, or that world is no longer revolving around you in one sense, but revolving around him. And I think I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. But the beauty, the one line from today that also kind of, each of us have our own takeaways. All of us can listen to this 1.5 hours and have our own takeaways. But it's very interesting to hear from a 22-year-old or a 21-year-old, in adversity you find divinity. That was it was profound, that I could hear something of that sort from someone who's that young. And then to hear how, in one sense, this beautiful framing of the journey, from all of us move from human to divinity, as to how our connection is with Swami, the form to the formless. But for you, how it incidentally began from from this God in a picture to actually very much the form per se, and then how it's continued to evolve post that, I think, and how that has a profound impact on who you turn into or who you transform into in the course of your journey. And that transformation, like you said, is an ever evolving process. And I think that's going to be very fascinating for us to kind of, if you do find the time to join us next session, I'll certainly be thrilled to hear the continuation of this journey in one sense, and kind of have there's so many takeaways from today that we are almost past 7 minutes past time, and I don't want to take time, but also just to see from the way Nikhila said, sing from the bottom of your heart, talk from the bottom of your heart, and Swami will hear you, and the world will conspire for you when you act, and when you come from a place of good intent, and from a place of compassion and love. And I think that is such a reassuring message that all of these youngsters give folks like me. Like Ravi uncle was saying, I'm probably elder to say the likes of Asai Prashanth by 13 years or so, but the amount of maturity sometimes that he's displayed in his life, I don't know if I have over my 34 years. With that being said, I truly want to thank all of you guys for joining and for staying past that 7:30 mark. And we'll certainly join next month for another session that hopefully Brother Harish will begin and continue this journey. Thank you so much. Sai Ram, everyone.
Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.